So, hey guys, I'm getting back to doing some work on the Jeep in preparation for the 33's. We're cutting fenders. This is my passenger side fender, the cut that I made. So I'm gonna match it up to this side with a couple of C clamps, and I'm going to draw out where I'm cutting. As you can see, it's a fairly clean cut. I am going to clean the cut up further. I'm gonna grind it down, and then they're both getting wrapped, as well as the hood is gonna get wrapped in all of these lower slots. And then I'm also wrapping the sunroof, the trunk deck, as well as a couple little odds and ends. But let's just get started. We're about to start cutting. I know that's a little odd shaped. So this is about an inch towards the wheel more than I want it. Not so much an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch to a third of an inch. And it really needs to come about there. Yeah, so about a quarter of an inch too far in, and then it'll flatten out right here and tie with that. So I'm gonna get to redrawing out that line to where it's even. I gotta bring it up, so it's gonna tie into that. So I just gotta tie it down like that, an even slope. But I think that's gonna be a day for grinding, and I'm gonna make it a perfect, like I'm gonna do it a lot better than it is right now. But just figured I'd bring y'all along for the cutting as well as the prepping for the cut. So on the other side, I know you guys saw I had used the little, I guess it would be a trim, to basically draw my outline. The trim was the outline for the passenger side. But for the driver's side, I had the passenger fender that I cut to make the outline. And I know you guys saw me finish up that video with the trim. I just figured I'd let you know that's how I did the first outline. I just decided to change it up with the driver's side and try it with the fender shaving and the trim. Really wanting to get these buttes on soon. But so that's the plan for the front clip. The rear end is a completely different story. I like to burn them until they blow, if you can't tell. But the rear end is a completely different story on what I'm doing for it. I tow a lot with the Jeep. It's the daily rig, you know what I mean? I tow a lot, do a lot of jobs, do a lot of work. So, like you can see right now, it's always full of tools and it's always full of supplies. So the plan for the rear end is to, on these WJs, you can throw the front shocks onto the rear end, and not the shocks, the front springs on the rear end of this, on the rear axle, and it will count as a 2-inch lift spring. I already have 2-inch lift blocks back here and 2.5s up front, but with me throwing 2-inch lift springs and those 2.5 blocks, it'll be a 4-inch lift back here, which will get me high enough to not have to shave my bumper, my quarter, nor my door trim, which I'm trying to save my body, because that's something I don't want to have to cut down in the future. Front end, no matter what I want to do, whether I lifted it more, I would have ended up cutting it anyways, so it's not the biggest concern for me. But the rear end, I really want to preserve my quarter, my door, and all of my body panels back here. So what I'm going to do back here is throw the the front springs on the rear and get that extra 2 inches of clearance on top of my 2-inch lift block for the time being. Long term, I plan on throwing a 4.5 on the 2-inch blocks as well. So a 4.5 lift spring on top of the 2.5 blocks. So I plan on leveling and lifting more legitimate, but for right now, for day-to-day use, for what I can afford, this is my best route. I haul with this thing almost weekly. I haul trailers, heavy trailers too, more than this thing is actually legally allowed to, but that's just what my use is. You could do it different way. You could chop your fenders. You could chop your fenders and chop your quarters, by all means. You're able to. All you really have holding you back on doing the quarters on the rear, not the quarters on the rear, the quarters is you have about 2 fingers width all around that you can cut. And then right here, you have about 2 fingers width all the way down, and all the way around you have about 2 fingers width that you can cut, and that's all you have. So realistically, it's about an inch and a half, and it's not really worth the body damage, if I'm gonna be honest with you there. But you know, to each vehicle their own, to each owner their own. You're fully able to go that option. I know a lot of people that do. I know a lot of people that cut out their flooring. Same within the rear. I know a lot of people that do tank relocation kits and all of that fun stuff. This is all my evap. Don't mind that. And some tire. But I know a lot of people who do the tank relocation kits, who do all of that stuff, who cut their frame rails, not their frame rails, who cut their floorboards and tuck them up. That's just not the route I want to go. So this is the video to show you the route I'm going. I'm going with the chop front and a 4-inch lift on the rear. 2-inch springs, 2-inch blocks. That's my plan. You don't gotta follow it, but I'm hoping you're liking the video. So I ran out of storage. I don't know how long into this clip, but I got this fender cut. I did botch it a little bit, but that's all right. I can clean this up. It's all for future stuff. This is just the rough edge. This is the rough, but got it cut. Got the front mount right here cut out, and then here on later today or later tomorrow, sometime soon, I'm gonna come through with an actual grinder wheel that I accidentally left at my buddy's house. I'm gonna come in with the grinder wheel and just grind this away real smooth and make it as perfect as can be. I did get some of the paint hot, but I'm not too concerned with it because I'm taking a sander to all of this, like this rough edge. I need grinder wheel. I knew I would, so I'm gonna bring the grinder wheel out, get the grinder on it, clean up all these edges, make them as round as possible, make them all as nice as possible. And then from there, both of these fenders are getting wrapped. And then same with my hood, from here to here. All of the sunken parts of the hood are getting wrapped, as well as my grill's getting wrapped black. Same with my front bumper, well, or lack thereof. My front frame rail is going to get wrapped black as well. Same with the trunk deck. The sides of the tail lights. I haven't decided what color I'm going on the sides of the tail lights yet. It's between gloss black, Ford carbon, or, well, this color. I honestly don't remember the name of that wrap, but I have a ton of it. That's what color the fenders are getting wrapped, the hood's getting wrapped, the trunk deck, and my sunroof is gonna get wrapped that color. So I'm thinking I may go that color for the tail lights, blend it all in together, then go gloss black on this, which I'm gonna figure out how to tighten that. But yeah, so I don't know how much of that you got. Tried to give as much as I could, but my phone says to go screw yourself, basically. Thanks for watching.